Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited to be here today and talk about international athletes and funding and opportunities for all of you. We have amazing presentation arranged for you. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Weber State to talk about the university and mainly a little bit about the speakers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ioana Volpe, and I work at Weber State University in Ogden, Utah. I'm originally from Romania, and I've been in your shoes before, so I know what you're going through. And I'm here to help you through the application process, to share with you my experience and also my knowledge. Weber State University, it's located in Ogden, Utah. It's in a beautiful setting in the mountains, Wasatch Mountains, and we are really excited to speak with you today. I'm going to let Ludmi introduce herself, and then at the end we'll have some slides that are specific to Weber State.
Thank you again. My name is Dr. Ludmi Herath, and just like the slides say, I remember being an F1 student, being in your shoes, researching, looking for universities way early, when I haven't even started about thinking my final education exam in my country. So I'm originally from Sri Lanka, born and raised in Sri Lanka, but grew up a few years I spent in UK. I studied communications. My master's is in public policy and my PhD is in higher education. It's pretty amazing to be here with all of you and then help you navigate this maze of applying for US universities and most importantly, funding. I've been in the field for about 20 years and I've walked the shoes that all of you are walking with internships, work, scholarships, optional practical training. So we're here to help you understand this process. I did say it's a maze, but it doesn't have to be a maze. That's why we are here to assist you. Without further ado, we are actually going to go ahead and start with the presentation. Just like we mentioned, we do have a chat box with Q&A. We have the later slides will be very specific for each institution. And this is your moment. Ask questions. It's a holiday for us in the US, but we're here today because we truly care about your education and how you're selecting your university. Take this advantage and ask all of your questions today from us.
Thank you, Ludmi. And as Ludmi said, there is a chat box where you can write your questions and we are trying to monitorize and answer those. And also we hope we can leave 10 minutes at the end for question and answer. So then we can answer all your questions and we both will share our email address with you at the end as well, because I'm sure you'll have some questions today, but then there's a lot of information that you have to capture today. So you'll probably have a lot of questions after today. So you'll be really able to reach us and we are going to communicate with you even after today. So every international student is different. Everyone has different expectation. Everyone has different education. So one thing that we really want to make sure that you understand today, that your journey is unique. Your needs are unique and you have to find what really works for you and what makes more sense for you. I would say don't listen to your friends, don't necessarily follow what your friends did. Your friends might be really well-intended and they might want to share what they've been through, but just think of your experience as your own. So don't be afraid to go to places where you may not think that you were going to, or you don't know anyone there, or have experiences that maybe don't really have friends that you can share those experiences with. US is a very beautiful country. It has a variety of things to offer. No matter where are you going to go, I'm sure you'll be happy and you'll find an interesting journey here in the US that will allow you not to only expand your education, but also expand your mind, expand your world. Here in the US, you'll have the opportunity to meet not only American people, but people from all over the world. In any institution that you'll choose to be an international student, you'll have that opportunity.
And we're going to talk about the presentation topics today. This is about international athletes and how to apply as an athlete and building your profile. So we have a couple of topics to share with you. Preparing your athletic profile, how to research to find your fit. Like discussed before, you're very unique. Your needs are different. There is 4,500 universities in the United States, and every student's needs are different. Timeline is pretty important. If you're somebody who's graduating in June of 2022, this is a great start to be working on your profile. Everything about the application process, even though we both are from two different universities, the basic concept is very similar. Scholarships are different, the application process is different, but the documents are usually somewhere along the same areas. And usually the universities are very different with their application processes and their deadlines, but you can have an overall picture of what to expect and how to prepare. This is my favorite. Sky is your limit. Grab and seek the opportunities. The reason we're going to talk about that is because one of the things, being in the field for 20 years, one of the things that I hear the most is my friends are. My friends are here, my senior friends. So as much as it's comforting that, you know, you do have senior friends advising you, but let us be very clear that each of your needs, your services, your wants are very different. And sky is the limit. I mean, remember 4,500 universities, you just need to find your best fit. What happens when you don't secure the visa? I mean, you know, right now, I'm sure we both can attest, fall 2020 was pretty bad. I mean, because of COVID, the embassies were closed. Students had to delay their enrollment. Some students got their visas denied. So what is next? I mean, we will talk about what is next.
So what does it mean to be an international student athlete? So what does that mean is that you're basically part of a university athletic team. You'll be able to represent that university in different local, regional, or national tournaments, national competition, where you will compete with your university team against other universities. And then you would also be an international student with a non-immigrant status, which will be F1 or J1. I'm assuming that most of you, since you are going to want to be an athlete, you're probably going to be an F1 student. So that is kind of generic definition of being an international student, being part of a team and also being a student in the United States with a non-immigrant visa. And you'll see further on in the presentation how those things can intertwine and how you will have to meet special requirements and regulation for each one of those positions, for the one to be an international student athlete and also for the one to be a non-immigrant international student in the United States.
And also, I do want to add to that is that if you are playing a sport as a hobby, so for example, you're not playing a team sport, but you are interested in swimming or you're interested in playing golf, this is not that platform. There are other platforms in the universities, but this is mainly for those students who have played competitive sports that are looking for positions to play the competitive sport in the university level and hold the position. But we are going to talk about other recreational sporting as part of our presentation.
So what do you have to do in order to be selected by a university to be part of their athletic team? So obviously you have to sell yourself, especially you first have to play in your country for the sports that you're trying to be recruited for. And secondly, you have to make sure that the universities that you are wanting to attend, they know you. They have ways to find you, to see your abilities, your performances, so then they can choose to have you as part of their team. So some tips to how to do that, how to make yourself seen, is to record have a video record, have a YouTube channel, have pictures, have especially videos. I think that's what it works, the best. Have live videos of you playing the sport. If you have awards, make sure you have a portfolio that has all the awards that you have included in that. A lot of times athlete students work with specific sporting recruiting agencies, which they are really qualified to do that, to select you as an athlete and present your profile to different universities in the United States. So it's important for you to do that work. It's kind of like public relation, PR. You basically want to sell yourself, so you want to have a portfolio ready for that. If you just say, yes, I'm good at playing soccer or I'm good at playing tennis, but nobody can see that, you don't have a portfolio to show, it will be really hard for universities here in the United States to notice you. So make sure you do that background work to have the visibility that you need to have when you are ready to be recruited. The second step is to prepare your academic profile. And I can tell you this from experience, in a lot of countries outside of the United States, when you're an athlete, it's really great. You're an athlete and you focus 100% on that sport, and maybe your academic profile doesn't necessarily have to be so important. Here in the United States, even if you're a great athlete, you cannot really accomplish or achieve anything unless you have a good academic profile as well. So you have to make sure that you have good grades. You have to make sure that you have really good scoring as well. You have to have English proficiency. These are requirements for any athlete that study in the United States. So without this, you won't be able, even if you're the best soccer player or the best tennis player, you would not be able to be recruited, because these are minimum requirements that are set by the National College Sports Association. So you cannot really be moving forward without that. So two things are really important: work on your sports profile, and secondly, work on your academic profile, your grades, your English proficiency, any other testing that you have to take in order to get admitted to a university.
And also, I do want to add, at the university that I work for, University of Houston, Victoria, we do recruit soccer, golf, and softball, baseball players. And I work closely with the coaches. And I can tell you, when a student approaches you saying, I play a sport, that's not going to be conducive. So by the time that you do approach a university, you do need to have your profile. So I cannot stress enough the sports profile, athletic profile, and your academic profile. I mean, those are two very important things. Just like mentioned, if you are the best player, you can be the best player, but you don't have that academic profile, you cannot play for that university. So how do you approach universities? There's a couple of ways you can approach universities. One of the ways we did discuss in the previous slide is, if you're working with the sporting agencies, I know there is sporting agencies in countries in South America, in Europe, all over, and they do help us athletes to be placed. Now, I mean, I know sometimes there's a fee involved. So if you're not going that route, you can directly connect with the university. Just like I mentioned before, I work directly with our coaches, all the coaches, in getting recruits to our university, including to the point about funding. So you have to work or approach the coach. So for example, or the pathway, sometimes universities have their own recruiter for each sporting category, or one recruiter for the entire university. If you're applying for a much more bigger university, D1, D2, or bigger sporting arena university, that means they have much more resources and much more recruiters all over that is scouting for good talent. Now, with our university, that's how we work. So you have to have a profile. You can't just approach the coach and go, I'm a great player in the Bahamas. I play soccer. I like to play for UHV. That's not how it works. You need to have your profile. and select many universities. As you know, you should know by now with research what are the universities that are good at your sport. So if you're a soccer player, just make sure that you look at the websites and see what are the good universities. And if your academic profile is somewhat in the average levels, then look at those universities that actually will admit you based on your academic profile. And if you played sports in high school, which you should, or organization competitively, get one of those people to actually talk behalf of you. So for example, if you played soccer for a professional organization in your country, under 18, under 18 teams, have those coaches approach the university coaches. You do not need to apply to the universities to get the offer. Once you send your athletic profile and a snapshot of your academic profile to the coaches, they can actually give you a contract contingent that you meet all the admissions requirements, the background checks, and other requirements of the university. So necessarily you don't need to go and apply, pay the application fees, and do all those things. You can connect with the coach or the recruiter and then work with them. And if they say, yes, we can, and then you can go and apply. Some universities does it very differently. So you do want to connect with the universities and then decide and work on how the application process is.
And one thing that I wanted to mention was that, as Ludmi was saying, yes, you don't have to apply to the university, but you at the same time, you have to know that if you apply to the university with the intention to be an athlete, you basically have to do that step first. You want to be accepted into the athlete team first. At Weber State, the same at the other university, we work directly with the coach. So if you apply for the university, you might be eligible to be admitted into the university, and we might as well process your application and be admitted. But if your goal is to be an athlete and have that athletic scholarship, then the first step is to be recruited by the coach into the team. You can get admitted into the university, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be admitted into the athletic team. So that step has to take place first before, if that makes sense. So how to research university and how to find the best fit for you. United States, as we mentioned before a few times, it's big. It has offers a great education, and it has over 4,000 schools. So you have to determine what is more important for you. Sometimes it's funding. You want to get a full athletic scholarship. You might be able to in some universities, you might not be able to get into another university. So you have to see what is more important for you. Sometimes it's a location. So I had actually a question, somebody asked a question in the Q&A. What about if I want to play a sport and that sport is not offered in the state or university that I'm applying to? So that's one sign. You have to try a different state or a different university. So you have to see what exactly are your priorities. You want to be set on location, you want to be set on funding, you want to be set on maybe a major, maybe you really want to study mechanical engineering, let's say, but the university that you're looking for does not offer that major, but that is the career that you want to follow. So there are a lot of steps and a lot of points that you have to look for when you make a decision. You can take a look at job placement, and you have to think about the future. Being an athlete is great, but if that doesn't end in a professional offer at the end of your 4 years or 5 years of college athlete life, you have to think about what you want to do, what career do you want to pursue. So maybe major, maybe the school that would offer you a good job placement, maybe a program that is high ranked. It's what is important for you. Maybe you want a big university, or maybe you want a smaller town and a smaller university that will really be more cozy and a more intimate place for you. So you really have to see there are a lot of university to choose from. So you basically have to narrow down what is more important for you, what are your priorities, and maybe make a list of 10 universities and start from there. And then you're probably are able to narrow it down through the application process and through the selection process.
And I also do want to add your return on investment. And I know we do have this and we do talk about this to all students. So for those of you are getting a full ride, we call a full ride a full scholarship, that's great. But for those, who are only getting a partial scholarship, depending on, athletics ability, the funding that's available, you do need to see, how is my return on investment, which means how much am I paying to get my 4-year degree? And then on the other hand, what happens if I get injured and I no longer can play? We've had this happen many times because when you do play sports, you can get injured, especially football, soccer. So we had a couple of students, who truly broke their leg and had to sit down. And so those are things that students don't think, and those are things that we want you to think. And I cannot stress enough of selecting the right fit for you. And we did include community college or university. So for example, for those who are getting a full ride, a full package at a community college, but you haven't received a full package for a university, community college is also good because it's free for your entire 2.5 years there, and then you can look into transfer to a university with another full ride at a different university. So don't leave out, don't exclude yourselves by applying. You just have to make sure that you select the best package. Like we said, many universities are out there. Somebody is going to offer you the best package, not just one, maybe multiple universities.
Look at the big pictures, because a lot of the time athletic scholarships are only offered for 1 year and they can be extended after 1 year, but you cannot really look at, okay, I'm going to be here and I'm going to get a scholarship 100%. You have to think about, okay, what about if after 1 year my scholarship is not extended? What do I want to be in this place? Do I want to be in this school? So there are a lot of things to consider when you make your decision. And I would say, keep your eyes open in all sides and think about everything that you want to achieve, not only just a narrow part.
And to move forward with what items to consider, cost to consider. So even though it's a full package or a half package or whatever financial package is, you have to apply. There's application fees involved. Then what about NCAA, NAIA process? Sometimes those application processes can also be costly. And SATs, ACTs, TOEFL, IELTS, those fees, just those two fees can come up to $500. What if living on campus is not offered, or the stipend that you're getting doesn't cover living on campus, so you have to find living off campus? Student fees, what are covered under the scholarships and waivers? When you are offered a position and a scholarship, you do get a contract, an agreement. Just make sure that you go through those agreements and contracts and jot it down to every dollar amount that you have to pay and you're getting. Programs, majors, and minors. Is your program available? Don't select a university if your program is not available. Be very mindful, just like, look at the bigger picture. What are the rankings? Internships, work experiences. Sporting, when you do play sports, that's great. If you go pro, that's great. But what if you don't go pro, or you're done after 4 years? What is your future? What can you get after you're done with college, with your college life? 4 years, 4.5 years. Internship, if you're a business major, I need to find an internship. Or if you're a biology major, I need to find an internship. What are the internships that these campuses offer? We talked about campus size. We talked about safety. We cannot stress enough job placement. Playing sports is competitive and takes a lot of your time. You have practice hours, morning, afternoon, you have study hours, you have to maintain all of your grades, and then going for games out of state, out of city, possibly out of country. So sometimes our athletes don't get a chance to sit down and work on their resume and internships. So these are things that you need to be looking out for.
So we are going to talk a little bit about the timeline, and I hope all of you are, with enough time to prepare your application. From my previous conversation today, it seems like the majority of you will be graduating in June 2022 or around that time. So then you're really within a good timeline to apply. I would say that at least 1 year before you're planning to start your university, it's good to kind of narrow down and have a plan. Each university has different deadlines, have different application deadlines. The athletics process have different application deadline. So it's really, really good to have at least 1 year. So I would say that the fall semester in the United States starts in August. So at least June, July of the previous year, you should kind of start working on your profile, working on your research, getting to know different university, even if you're not really ready to make the final determination. Some university, they have a 6 months deadline. So you apply, you submit your application, and then you'll find out only 6 months if you are accepted or not. So be prepared, allow for enough time, and most importantly, prepare yourself academically and also prepare your athletic profile. So once you start looking for university, you are ready. You know that you have your videos, you have your pictures, you have your portfolio to show to the coaches, and also you're preparing to take your English test, to take your SAT, ACT, if those are required. Each university has different requirements. So I would say 1 year before you're planning to study, you should kind of start narrow down.
So application process, what you need to know about the application process, just like, we said, every school is different, and every school's admission process is different, and how it's admitted is different. You have to complete the application process and get admitted. That is very common to any university that you're looking into. Sometimes, coaches, recruiters do not process applications. I know our school, they don't, absolutely not. So you must complete the university admissions process by meeting all the admissions requirements and the professional organization requirements, such as NAIA or NCAA. We talked about application fees and the fees to put into these portals for your application process. Transcripts, it's mandatory. Test scores, mandatory. Funding documents, it depends. If you get a full scholarship, then you may not need to show funding documents, but the full scholarship may not include some of the things like insurance and books. So you may have to show some form of funding to the admissions office. Recommendation letters, personal statements, and other documents required by the university. Every university is quite different, but these are very common documents that all universities are looking for, and mainly the test scores. You need to make sure that you do the test, SATs or TOEFL, IELTS. Some universities are accepting Duolingo, which is quite convenient and easy. So you just have to make sure that by the time you submit the application, that you have the test score results and things. So it's very easy for any department to process your documents.
So again, one thing that is really important in this process, I know it's going to be overwhelming. You'll be discussing with different schools, with different coaches. You'll be signing different papers. You'll be getting different papers that you have to overlook. Anything that you sign, always read. Even if it has 10, 20 pages, please try to make sure that you read and understand what is offered to you. Each scholarship application, each athletic scholarship application or academic scholarship, on the other hand, they have their own requirements. You have to meet their own requirements, and you have to take different steps to apply to have the scholarship. So always make sure that whatever is offered to you, you read, you understand, and if you do not understand what is offered to you and what are the conditions of what is offered to you, ask your coach, ask your admission advisor or whoever is processing the admission at the university where you're applying. So then that way, you know, when you're coming to the United States, that you know what you're coming to, what is offered to you and what it is not. And you have to be responsible of preparing what is not offered to you and providing yourself with those funds sometimes, if it's not a 100% funds or anything that you need to prepare, make sure you do it before you arrive in the United States. And before you sign anything, read and understand.
And also to add, this is a family commitment. So when you do get all these contracts, and if you are somebody who has multiple offers, sit down, take some time, read through everything. I mean, keep in mind, these contracts are long, and you have to read everything. And I know sometimes it's not fun, but you know, you need to make sure what is included so you know firsthand, what am I paying, what am I receiving. So from the next slide, we're actually going to go into our own individual universities. So we should be ready to ask questions too, but let me start with University of Houston, Victoria. That is the university I work for. We're in a town called Victoria, Texas. It's about 2 hours away from all the metropolitan cities in Texas. So if you know Texas, it is very, I mean, you know, very south tip of the United States. We're about 2 hours away from Houston, 2 hours from Austin, and 1.5 from San Antonio. So a pretty good hub for even internships. As you know, Austin is booming, and we're called, Austin is the second Silicon Valley. Tesla is there, so it's pretty amazing. We're a small city, but you have all the amenities in that city. It is a college town, and we're a small university. We're a rural small university, which means our student population is roughly about 4,000, roughly 4,900, little shy of 5,000 students. So why UHV? We do have amazing sports programs. We're super quick and easy with how we do all the paperwork, and it goes from admissions to graduation. Pretty quick, pretty fast. We have excellent faculty, small class sizes. Our smallest, largest class actually is roughly about 18 students, but I've been at the university for about 5 years. I'm yet to see a face-to-face class that has 18 students out, even when I walk by. Outstanding preparation for the career. And I can't stress this enough. We had our biological sciences students. I mean, we have some students who's doing research at Stanford. Careers, as I stressed out before in my presentation, that we start telling our students as early as their first semester about internships. Connect you with the career center. We connect you with a career coach, so that way you work on your career first. Affordable. I'm not sure if you know how affordable Texas is. We're the 5th most affordable university in Texas, and a 4-year university. And if you know, we have the largest community college in Texas as well. That is Houston Community College. But with all those, we're the 5th most affordable university in Texas. And when I say you won't break the bank, our annual cost as an international student can range you from roughly about 18, 19,000 to 26,000. And that is with scholarships. And if you're an athlete, depending on which sport you pay, it could be a full ride to a pretty big significant package, depending on what sport you're playing. Our coaches are one-on-one involved, not just with you, with your coaches, with your side agents, and then also with our office, because we work very closely. And our living expenses are very affordable. Like I mentioned, you know, we're a small town in Texas. A simple 1-bedroom apartment can range you from $450 to $480. That is just to say, how affordable it is even off campus. Usually two students share this apartment, very comfortable apartments. Otherwise, we wouldn't be telling our students. That's pretty affordable to be in Texas. And our university is quite unique. We offer shuttle services. Our residential life and the campus is just a 5-minute walk. Just you have to cross one road, but we have a shuttle service for that. And then here's a little snapshot of our students. The 4,500 is as of fall 2019, but our numbers changed this past fall. That was 4,900. And these are the programs that we have. Our most popular AACSB accredited programs is the business, marketing, management, international business, economics. I'm not going to read out the programs. But the second most important one is artificial intelligence, computer science, digital gaming, simulation. And then the other side, the most popular fields for us athletes is kinesiology, exercise sports science, physical education, sports management. So check with us. We can work with you on your programs. You can double major, you can double minor, you can anything when you come to the United States. So one of the uniqueness is our personal attention. I don't know if you remember, my phone rang the very second slide. That is because we have students coming in this week. And we have students picking up students from the airport. So anytime a student is picked up, my student drivers is supposed to call me and say, hey, Ludmi, we picked up this student. So personal attention, when you have 4,900 students, you can really give personal attention. Our school is a small university. We maintain our personal attention to our students really well. Even at COVID-19, when faculty staff are working from home or some offices are closed, we're still maintaining virtual lobby hours. We are meeting students with, COVID, taking CDC guidelines. We're always there for our students. If you're struggling in classes, our success coaches are there. But when you are an athlete and you're struggling, you will receive probably about 6 emails altogether. Couple from your coach, couple from me, couple from your success coaches. So really hands-on when it comes to helping our students. We are your home away from home because we do understand that, you are leaving your home, you're coming to play a sport and then get an education. We understand your sacrifices, so we are definitely your biggest advocates, and we are your home away from home. So I don't want to take much more time. You can write down our information for contact us, and very easy to remember, it's international@uhv.edu, and you can add us on all these platforms, and you can chat with us anytime.
Thank you, Ludmi. And my name is Ioana. Again, I work at Weber State University, and now it's my time to tell you a little bit about Weber State and what we have to offer to the international students. So we are located in Ogden, Utah. As you can see from this picture, our campus is really beautiful. One thing that our students, international and domestic, always say when they talk with other students from other universities, my campus is better than your campus. And that is because it is really true. We are located at the base of Wasatch Mountain. Ogden, it's a really great city for outdoors. So if you like the nature, if you like to be outside, if you like mountains, desert, we have it all. We have a lot to offer. We have 7 or 8 ski resorts in Utah. We have a lot of hiking and biking during the spring and summer and fall. Ogden is priding themselves of calling the outdoor capital of the world. So we have a lot to offer, especially if you like the nature and if you like to be outside. Ogden is a smaller town. It has around 85,000 people, and we are located 45 minutes outside of Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City is where the international airport is, and Salt Lake City is also the capital of the state of Utah, and it's really easy to get from the Salt Lake City airport to our campus. It takes 45 minutes by public transportation. It's convenient, it's beautiful. The people in Utah are really, really nice and friendly. Everyone who comes here, they just amazed of like the friendliness of the community. So you definitely, if you come to Ogden, you'll feel welcome, you'll feel at home, and we would make sure that you have a great experience. And we think that here in Weber State University, we have something for everyone. In comparison with the university in Victoria, we are a large university. We have now more than 29,000 students. We have more than 225 programs. We have 19 graduate programs. But at the same time, we have a small town and a community feeling. So you're not going to feel like you're lost in those 29,000 students. We have more than 300 international students from more than 62 countries. So international bring a really great diversity to our campus and make our campus a global village. And we are really excited to have you here. In terms of sports, we are NCAA Division. We have as Ludmila mentioned before, I work closely with the coaches. As soon as the coach makes an offer to a student, automatically I get the information, and then I'll start working with the students directly to make sure that I prepare them for the application process. If you all know sports, you probably know Damian Lillard. He is a professional basketball player, and he is an alumni of Weber State University. And if you look on his channels, he always talk about the education that he got at Weber State University and how grateful it is for that. So we definitely think that we have something for everyone here. Our entire application process is online and is really user-friendly. You do not have to mail anything. You just have to submit all the documents through the application portal. And then if you take any test, you just have to ask the testing center to send your results directly to Weber State. We are really user-friendly. You just one portal, you apply online, you submit all your documents into the same portal, and we usually give an admission decision in no longer than 2 weeks, sometimes even before that time. So it's quick, it's easy, it's user-friendly. One really great thing about Weber State, beside everything that I already mentioned, is the affordability of our university. So our estimate cost for 1 year, and that includes books, housing, tuition, is just a little bit over $27,000. And I can tell you that is a really great cost for education in the United States. It's really affordable. It's really a way to get a good education and don't break the bank, the same like the other school. You know, we want to make sure that we understand your needs and we make it affordable. And we have scholarship for 80% of our international students. So you may get an athletic scholarship that is full ride. That's great. That means that that scholarship covers for everything. You do not need to come up with any of your funds. However, sometimes, and I would say most of the times, athletes get a part scholarship. So they get maybe half of their cost covered, and then they have to come with something else, or maybe 70%. So in addition to your athlete scholarship, we would also consider you for an academic scholarship. So that means that if you're, as we mentioned before, if your academic profile is really great, you really have good test scores, your high school transcript shows really great grades, you can also get an athletic scholarship on top of your, an academic scholarship on top of your athletic scholarship. These are some of the some of the links and resources that you can kind of go and see about Weber State. We have a lot of student testimonials, students that are attending Weber State, and they are sharing their experience. You can check out in our booth here at the Worldwide platform. We have a few videos, we have image from the campus. We are really here to support you, to help you achieve your dream, to make sure that you're coming to the United States and you're happy with your decision. I'm going to write my email address in the chat box, and I work directly to the students, so you can email me directly and I can answer any questions that you might have about applying to Weber State. Yeah, and as we mentioned a few times today, the sky is the limit. Don't limit your thinking. Come to the United States, choose one of these two schools that you attended the presentation, or choose another school. But we hope to see you here. We hope that you are going to choose United States, and we are sure that if you do, you'll be not regretting and you'll be getting a great education.
So I do want to conclude the presentation from Weber State and University of Houston, Victoria today. And the last slide is for you to jot down our email addresses and our social media platforms. And now I think we are right on time. We have 15 minutes for questions. And if you have questions, please go ahead and type in. Like we said, you know, it is a holiday in the United States and we both are here talking to you. So think of this as a private tutorial. So ask from us all the questions and don't be shy. If you are shy, just chat away. Ask the questions through the chat box.
And I did answer some questions in the Q&A, so you can ask your question there. You can unmute and ask them live here, or you can write them in the chat. Whatever works for you, we'll be making sure that all your questions will be answered.
Don't be shy, ask questions.
Yes, we are here for you today. Take advantage of having two previous international students. We can share our experience and also our knowledge with you. So this is a fantastic opportunity that you have. So go ahead and ask questions. We are here to support you.
Okay, there is a question. Does Weber State University accept my 11th grade degree? In my country, we just study until 11. Same question for Victoria. Yes, we do. For University of Houston, Victoria, yes, we do. We do that all the time with pending grades. Yes, we do.
The same for Weber State. So you can start your application process and apply and get admitted when you're on 11th grade. You just have to bring your transcript with you when you arrive. So by the time when you arrive, you had completed high school and you bring your final transcript with you. But that is it. You can definitely start your application and finish your application and get admitted when you are still on 11th grade. That was a great question, by the way.
Any other questions? So I'm going to throw a question out there. What is the season that coaches recruit? So every school is different, and our coaches, they go heavy in recruitment from the year before. Sometimes they start in December, October, December, and by March, our university, they're ready to make offers.
It's pretty much the same with Weber State. Depends on the sport and sometimes on the coaches, but that's a great kind of timeline.
There is a question. Does both the university accept English proficiency of Duolingo? University of Houston, Victoria does accept Duolingo.
The same with Weber State. So we accept Duolingo as long as your score is at least 90, then you get admitted directly into an academic program. We just have to get the scores sent directly by Duolingo. And I don't know about the other school, but I can tell you at Weber State, if you do not meet English proficiency requirements, we have an English as a second language program. It's called LEAP, Learning English for Academic Purposes. So don't get scared if you do not meet the English proficiency requirements. You can still come, you can study English, and once you meet the English proficiency requirement, you move on to your academic major of your choice. Sometimes when you are in an English as a second language program, you might not be able to get the athletic scholarship until you move on to the academic part of your studies. But it is possible to start learning English if that's what you have to do. There is another question here. Does your university offer application fee waiver? Weber State does not offer application fee waivers. I'm not sure about the other school. It seems like maybe we have a connection problem, but Weber State in general does not offer application fee waiver. Our application fee, it's only $65, which is really minimum, and we hope that everyone can afford to pay that. Yeah, welcome back.
Hey, sorry. And were you able to answer the application fee waiver?
Yes, I answered for Weber State, so you can go ahead.
We do waive the application fee also. And as for the Duolingo, our scores are 80 and above. And we do have an ESL program too, so don't stress out on English. And Duolingo is actually what we recommend right now because of how convenient it is for all students.
I second that. Duolingo has been a really great tool that we had used now, especially during the COVID. And students feel very happy with the Duolingo. It's cheaper than all the other tests, and it's so easy to set up. So basically, from the time they are thinking about taking the test, it takes like 2 or 3 days, and they have the result. So
right,
definitely use it.
And what I really love about it is I get all the scores in an email. And if I want to see how the student speaks, it's just a touch of a button. It's just pretty amazing. So that just states, how universities are changing their application processes to be fitting our students. Is there any other questions? I know we are 8 minutes. The last question, both university offer full scholarships or just partial? Not just about athletic scholarship, also about academic. I can answer for University of Houston, Victoria. We are actually, we do have full for athletics. We also, partial is the pretty common one. But for academic base, we do not offer full scholarships for international, but partial for sure, yes. And even with the partial scholarship, you're looking at room and board and your tuition and everything roughly about $14,000, $15,000.
And for Weber State, it's similar. So if you get an athletic scholarship, it is definitely possible that you will get a full ride, a scholarship that will cover everything. You'll cover your tuition, your fees, your room and board, your books. However, if you do not get a full ride athletic scholarship, you can get a combination of athletic scholarship and academic scholarship, or you can just get an academic scholarship if you're not an athlete. But academic scholarship, they can cover up to half of the tuition, but they are never a full ride. I would say it's really, really hard to find schools in the United States that offer academic scholarship full ride. It's not impossible, but it's not really often. Athletics, on the other hand, yes, if you're really good and you have a good profile, you might be able to score that. But to score a full-ride academic scholarship, it's not that easy. There's a question: to apply for a scholarship, do I need to have exceptional grades like A+ in most of everything? I would say no. We at Weber State, at least I speak about Weber State. At Weber State, we have 4-tier scholarships. So our highest scholarship is up to $8,000, which covers half of the tuition. And then depending on your grade, it goes down to $6,000 per year, or $4,000, or $2,000. So don't feel discouraged to apply for a scholarship, even if your grades are not A+.
So I like to add all scholarships, the big one, the $10,000 scholarship that we promote for international students is based out of 3 criteria. You get 30% for your academic transcript, 30% for your resume CV, however, with your high school, what you did, and then 40% for your personal statement. That is actually, that grid is created. So the funding is available to all students. If you have bad grades, if you have a good CV, resume, personal statement, you still can receive a scholarship. So it's just, like we stressed out from the beginning, research, 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 and finding your best fit.
There's a question: I'm studying in Bolivia entrepreneurship and I want to study a second career abroad. If I want to apply, do I have to present the transcript from my university or school? Also, what is the minimum score of the TOEFL to apply? So I'm going to start with Weber State, and I'm going to start with the second part of your question. So for TOEFL, our requirements are 61 at Weber State. So you have to have a minimum of 61 in order to study academically. Otherwise, you can start in our English as a second language program. If you want to study you already took some classes and you want to get admitted again to a different university, it is up to you if you want to get any transfer credit for the work that you completed in another country. If you do, you have to get the transcript evaluated by a credential evaluation agency and then submit it. But if you do not want, we would just need the transcript for admission purposes. And as long as it is in English, you do not have to get it evaluated.
Same for what Weber State, our TOEFL is 61 as well. And then as for transcripts, it's the same. We do need evaluation only if you're transferring credits, or if you have graduate students, if your bachelor's degree is outside of the US. But if you're not transferring credit and the transcript is in English, we don't require an evaluation any sort. Any other? We have 4 more minutes.
I think we answered all the questions so far. One thing that I wanted to mention, you have both of our email address. I'm sure you'll probably find questions coming up later, tomorrow, next week, any day. Feel free to reach out to both of us at any time when you have a question.
Same from my end. Thank you all for giving us this 1 hour. I know it can be an overwhelming process, but like we said, we are here to help you and navigate you with this process. I hope you connect with both of us. This is why we're here presenting. And if your families have questions, feel free to give our contact information for families so we can connect with them. But thank you all so much for coming for the session today. And check out other tours, other events that is from the same event portal that you are here today, Worldwide College Tours. Thank you.
Yeah, I second that. Thank you so much for all of you for giving us the opportunity to be here with you today and to share some information about us and about our schools. And we definitely look forward to connecting with you after the event as well and be able to guide you through this process of studying in another country.
Thank you both. You were so good.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.